Energy's up. Edwin's a rebel. We know he's a rebel without a cause. He drives his motorcycle. He pops his collar.
Yep. That's just how I am.
Yeah, he's just a renegade.
Welcome to Scary Mystery Surprise,
where we talk about scary things that surprised us around the internet.
I'm Edwin.
I'm Michelle.
So if you notice, this episode, Michelle, in the notes or in the disappointment thing that we have this session, doesn't have a title.
Uh-huh.
I didn't give you any info on it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It just has a date. We're recording. Because this is going to be an actual surprise for you, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And just to set a little background, okay? Just to add to the mystery of Scary Mystery Surprise, we're going to make a scene. So actually, it's just like I don't know what you call these things in movies, but it's just like when you see something and it's just like, and anyway, this is the mystery. So here's what I want you to imagine.
You mean a scene? Like a scene?
Just a scene.
Yeah, okay.
Just a scene. So you have to be very visual. You need to actually see this.
Okay, we're setting the mood. Okay, I'm ready.
It is a warm summer day in 2007 in Florida.
Okay.
The camera zooms out of a condo. So imagine that, right? It's just kind of zooming out.
Okay.
It's like dollying or whatever technical term.
Okay, yeah.
You can see other houses now. It's just zooming out. Now you can see the street.
Okay.
And there's a man with a cane, barely walking along with a tiny dog.
Okay.
As the camera zooms out a little bit more, you hear a sudden boom, splash, drip, drip.
Oh?
The man who's walking his dog turns around as much as he can because he's old. He scratches his butt and keeps chugging along the sidewalk.
Wait, to not look at the boom, he just scratches his butt and keeps walking?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he just keeps walking, and his dog is bored as hell. And then the camera fades out. And that's it. End the scene.
Okay. Well, I hope that all ties together later. That's because normally a scene in a movie would tie to something else, but I don't know if we're tying that to anything else right now.
Now, fast forward to later in 2008.
Okay.
Michelle, you've been summoned to jury duty. Damn it. All right, well, what are we going to do, right? You have to go.
I mean, I guess.
And the case seems boring too. Once you get there and then you kind of start learning about it, it's basically an insurance company, State Farm.
Oh, my fucking civic duty.
And it's this insurance, State Farm versus a person named Judy Rodrigo. So this was a real case, right? Palm Beach, Florida. You can look it up. Anyway, State Farm had offered a settlement to Judy, but she was sure that she would win. So she refused and she was like, we're going to court. And here is the case.
I mean, it's very American response to that.
Yeah, I'm going to win.
It's like, oh, these French fries were hot. These French fries were hot, and I burnt my mouth, so I'm suing you.
That coffee case, actually, I read into it, and I'm like, hey, that actually was really hot coffee.
I know, I read into that. Yeah, I did read into it, too, and I was like, this is valid, but it led to a lot of other invalid cases.
Yeah. Jeez. Remember this one guy in a wheelchair in San Jose used to go around and just sue businesses because they didn't have ramps?
Honestly, genius. I mean, how do you even argue with that? Because they don't have a ramp, so...
Yeah, but he would just go around suing. He sued his dry cleaners.
It's like making the world a better place.
Yep. Ah, man. Anyway, so Judy had purchased insurance for her home to cover personal property in the event of a, quote, named peril. I don't know what that means. This is vague.
Yeah, it's like act of God, but named peril.
She thought she was never going to need it, but it's Florida, aka Heaven's waiting room. So all sort of happens. I didn't make that up. Don't give me credit for that.
I've never heard that before, but I love it.
I read it in an article and I'm like, is that mean?
No.
Heaven's waiting room.
Funny. I don't know why it's so funny. Is it just so funny because it's they're immediately they're all waiting to die? Is that it? Is it just...
Basically, because did I ever tell you that when I used to work in Florida, I only met like 2 young people, and I can count them, 2.
Really?
One of them helped me bag my groceries, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the other worked at a bar. Everyone else was old. This is Cape Canaveral.
Oh.
Cape Canaveral, Florida. The whole time I was there, I was there for not that long, 2.5 months, 3 months, something like that. But seriously, I only saw those 2 people. Anyway, so she's like, stuff happens here, so I'm going to get it. And then in 2007, back to the original scene.
Oh, yes.
2007, Judy's condo neighbor died.
Okay.
And the woman's body decomposed before it was discovered.
Ugh.
Now, here's where she thought the insurance would come in handy, right? The bodily fluids infiltrated the walls and caused damage to Judy's unit. So she filed a claim. However, the insurance company was like, no, we can't do that. And Judy was like, but it says right here that you cover this kind of thing.
Body juices?
And what was that kind of thing? Explosions.
Oh my God.
Judy submitted an affidavit from a doctor who said that the internal contents of the neighbor's corpse explosively expanded and leaked. The judge concluded, by the way, like after listening to...
Pause for just a second. This is the kind of case I'd love to be on. This is not a boring insurance case, Edwin. This is so juicy, literally and figuratively.
Oh, no.
Anyway, continue.
Eventually, after a lot of back and forth, the judge concluded the plain meaning of the term explosion does not include a decomposing body's cells explosively expanding, causing leakage of bodily fluids. Now, as a member of the jury, what do you say? Should the insurance pay up?
I mean, yes, absolutely. But does it qualify as an explosion? Oh, that's tricky.
Wow, you got it. Because I mean, that was a debate. Is it an explosion?
Yeah, is it an explosion?
Does it count?
I don't know if it counts as an explosion, but it is like damage to the unit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's disgusting. And obviously that should be under the clause of whatever that.
Like it should add if your neighbor dies.
Yeah, like
and he leaks.
Yeah, bodily functions. Like what if like a sewer line exploded? Would it have covered that? Like that's you know, like there's things there where it's like you know, biohazard. It's biohazard stuff.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Either way, the judge ruled in State Farm's favor.
Fuck, poor lady.
She should have taken that settlement.
I know. I was like, morally, I was with her, but legally, I don't think it's an explosion. I mean,
yeah.
Except the old guy heard the explosion or whatever in the scene before.
See, like the thing was, for me, I was thinking, can a body actually explode? Right. And then I thought of several things. I'm like,
yeah,
I think it can.
I think it can too.
But it's, you know, it's one of those things where like you hear it, yeah, it does, but does it really? And I started looking it up, and then I found a bunch of these cases where like they say that, yeah, body can explode. This one was interesting, super short, but in 2013, a corpse exploded at Preston Mausoleum. Fluids were oozing through the seal that wasn't sealed properly, so I guess it wasn't a seal, and dripped down the granite. Of the. I saw a picture of this, by the way, not of the actual body. Once it was cleaned up, basically the cap of the thing just flew off.
Jesus,
there's like you can tell that they cleaned up liquid and like stuff from the floor.
Everybody, get the hose.
Could you imagine? Anyway, mourners were there, Michelle.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Aunt Gertrude blew up.
Clean up aisle 2. You have someone leaking. Oh man, they did their best to clean up the smell and everything, but obviously the smell was still there. The visitors hated it, obviously.
Of course.
But the summer insects, they loved it.
Oh yeah.
They were like, feast time, let's go.
Also, it's Australia, so I'm sure there were like massive crazy ass insects coming to eat.
It's like bird-sized mosquitoes just arriving for lunch.
Ew, God. I don't know what's worse. I really don't know what's worse.
Big old bottle-sized flies just wiping their faces, getting ready to eat. You know how they always do that thing where they're just like rubbing their... Oh, no. Oh, dude, I hate flies. I don't know if I told you that. I hate flies.
Yeah, I hate flies too. They're so gross.
Jeez. Anyway, they filed complaints with the state authorities, the Darabin Council. But since then, the cemetery had another incident of leakage while they were reporting actually on this stuff. Yeah. It turns out they had a whole thing. I mean, I read into it. It doesn't really follow the theme here of our episode, but they had basically like the government took it over, or like a city council or something took over the cemetery because they seized that area, or they took it over basically. And they didn't let people that know how to manage like a mausoleum area and all that stuff. So they just mismanaged and turned it into a whole thing. But anyway, they said that everything was going to be okay and they were going to fix it and it was fine. And don't worry about it. Stop reporting on it and all that stuff.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody Uncle John blew up next to Aunt Gertrude. Aunt Gertrude and Uncle John.
Terrible. But anyway, here's something you'll like, Michelle. And most people, they know that I'm not a fan of royal stuff. You might like that stuff, but...
I mean, I do sometimes.
Yeah. I decided to take the hit for this one. And I went to royal.uk to find out the history of William the Conqueror.
Oh, you mean old royal stuff? Yeah, I'm all about that. I don't have any particular feeling about Prince Charles or whatever the hell he is.
I didn't even know that was a thing. King Charles?
King Charles.
Oh yeah, since the Queen died.
Yeah, so it's King Charles now.
Wow.
But whatever.
Anyway.
I mean, we'll be doing another funeral for him in like 5 years. So it's...
Michelle's predictions.
Is it a prediction? He has sausage fingers. It's like, that's like a predisposition of like heart disease or something. It's that bloating in the fingers. It's that weird bloating in the fingers. If you have sausage fingers, go get your heart checked.
This is not medical advice.
No, it is medical advice. Go get your heart checked, please, so you don't die of a heart attack.
I'm pretty sure there's a better technical name for it. Or is that it? Sausage fingers?
I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say sausage fingers. So if you've seen somebody with sausage fingers, you know.
Let them know.
Let them know.
You're at Scary Mystery Surprise. We care about your health.
Yeah, we care about you. Checked. Yeah, go get checked out. Go get your heart checked.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to gooey bodies. Oozy gooey bodies.
So after where it says William the Conqueror, Michelle, there was this parentheses thing that says R. 1066 to 1087.
Oh, I do know this.
Yeah, what's R?
R?
It's a sudden trivia question.
Oh, I don't know what R means, but I do know this story.
What is it?
Oh, about King William.
You know about William?
Yeah, I do.
I figured you... See, this is why I made a note. This is why you like this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so feel free to like add stuff or whatever. But this is the first time I ever read it.
I mean, it's pretty good.
William, they say that he was an okay ruler. People generally liked him, I think. But eventually he stopped conquering because he died.
What? Thank you for the history lesson, Edwin. Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
History with Edwin. Anyway, there are two main accounts of his death. One of them said that he was fighting so intensely out in the battlefield that he got sick and died. But one account by William of Malmesbury added that William the Conqueror's belly stuck out so much that when he was thrown onto the pommel of the saddle, his organs were ruptured. Even though he was carried off alive to Rouen, R-O-U-E-N, the capital, he was not going to make it, so he made a will. Basically saying, like, this is going to go to this person, this person's going to take the throne. And anyway, it was just a whole family drama thing for a very long time after his death. Anyway, even though this is sad, this is just really funny. Like,
is it sad? I mean, what is it? It's like tragedy plus time equals comedy or something like that, I think.
Oh, yeah, I guess we're allowed to laugh.
I think at this point it's okay to laugh at what happened next.
Oh, man. The room where the king was laid was looted right away. His body was left lying naked on the floor because people were stealing stuff. So they even took his clothes and stuff. Like, what? Anyway, eventually, a knight that was passing by felt bad for him. So he was like, oh man, let's get you fixed up. So he arranged for the body to get embalmed. They were going to take him somewhere. And days were passing already, by the way. And the body was starting to show signs that it needed to get in the ground, like now. Anyway, a fire broke out in the town, and they had more delays. Anyway, so just when they were getting everyone together to forgive William for the stuff he had done, because I guess that was a practice, right? Like, oh, he's dead now, like, let everything go.
Like a viewing, yeah.
Yeah, they heard a voice saying that William had stolen the land he was going to be laying in. So that couldn't happen. Like, if you stole this land from my father, you cannot be here. Anyway, they argued for a bit and they paid him off.
Like the story, I'm like, I have never heard this story before. No. I am like on a train. I am on it. Like, tell me more.
I want to link to it because this might all be fiction. Because I'll tell you why near the end.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, there's part, like, I'm assuming the part that it's going to tie it to everything. Yeah, that's real. That happened, but I don't know anything else about what you're talking about.
I hope this is like, because it does read like a comedy thing, right? And I'm like, is this real? Is this so much that I actually Googled, was William the Conqueror real? Because I was like, is this a real story? Anyway, it turns out he was. Anyway, all this time, William's corpse is bloated. Like, he was just getting bloated. He wouldn't fit in the stone sarcophagus that had been made specifically for the occasion. So people did what they had to do, and they just started to shove him in there, like just push him. And as they're pushing from this writing piece or this thing that I read, this according to Orderic it's called Historia Ecclesiastica, written by Benedictine monk and chronicler Orderic Vitalis, who lived in Saint Everald Monastery, Normandy. This is so interesting to me. I don't know anything about this, but anyway, this is what the quote said. Once it's shoving them in there, it said, the swollen bowels burst, and an intolerable stench assailed the nostrils of the bystanders and the whole crowd. Anyway, they rushed to the ceremony to get out of there, right? But terrible. Now, does this count as a body exploding?
Yeah, I think it does. I think unequivocally it does.
They're just literally trying to make him explode by shoving him in there. But
yeah, but I mean, they waited pretty long to put him in that thing. And for some reason, I remembered that he might have been tall as well. So it's like he really didn't fit in that thing. And then he was bloated by the time they shoved him in and he exploded.
I thought that gases would escape like out your butt or your throat.
Or like any other orifice. Yeah, you have like your eyeballs, your ears, you'd think that, but I guess not. I guess not.
Just blow up like a balloon and Anyway, was this story true? Well, what I read was that back then people loved stories of guts and gore. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping people like too, like the making of this episode. But it's true, like we've all kind of had this fascination for that kind of thing. So the thing is, since back then, like writers wanted people to read their stuff, like journalists now, they might have added that. We don't know if it happened. Like,
yeah, it's true. We don't know. I mean, but it's a good story, him exploding after his death. It's pretty good.
So messed up. But anyway, so here is what we all want to know, right? How do you stop yourself from exploding after you die?
Thank you. This is a question that keeps me up at night regularly. So I'm glad we're going to solve this today.
Yeah. Thank me later. Watch. This is going to solve everything. Vice magazine, or just Vice now, spoke with Josh Slocum, director for a thing that's basically like the Consumer Reports of funeral services and stuff, and asked why corpses explode. And his answer was pretty obvious, right? Like, it's decomposing, like bacteria inside of you. Anyway, his answer was comparing everything to meat inside Tupperware, which like basically heat and humidity, bodily fluids and all that bacteria, like they start becoming like they turn the Tupperware into a type of pressure cooker. And I don't know why that was so visual to me, just meat rotting in a thing. But I guess we are meat, right?
Technically, yes, we are just meat.
Anyway, there's the whole article is so cool. It's just like that question and answer type of article interview. So you can just skip to the question you want to see the answer to. They ask all these questions, like very, very interesting stuff. Like, what does it actually look like once a body's in there? And I didn't know this, but eventually the body becomes this is what it says right here on the article. It said it becomes a disgusting, chunky brown slurry.
Ooh, and you mean corpse wax, as noted in one of our other episodes.
Yeah.
Which can be turned into soap or candles.
This is so nasty. But like, can you imagine slurry like wearing a suit? Like that's
it's like the suit's left and it's just goo, like as where the body was.
Yeah. They say that that's actually what it looks like. Well, I mean, they move around the casket and like it moves, so it kind of changes the shape of it. But like, imagine if it's just not moved and it's just turning into liquid. That's what it would end up looking. I know.
Yeah. Like a onion soup.
Oh, it's brown. You're right. Oh, and it has those
creamy chunks.
It took me a little bit to see that, like to just visualize it. And then I tasted it. And
yeah, we've all had onion soup. Fortunately or unfortunately, in some cases.
I kind of like it, but now I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I always want to like it, but I never do. It's one of those things that I've tried multiple times and it just isn't for me.
Sushi. I tried sushi multiple times before I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I like sushi. I mean, it took me a while. There's like certain things where I'm like, like lamb. I ate lamb in Ireland, but I don't eat lamb here. Like I really can't handle lamb most of the time.
What about pickles? Did you like pickles when you first tried them?
Yeah? I like pickles.
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't.
Onions, same thing.
Yeah, onions are a little tricky.
Liver is a thing I've tried multiple times.
I love liver. Yeah, I love liver. It makes me feel like a normal person. I think I might be a little anemic. And so when I have like organ meat, I'm like...
Feel good?
Yeah, I'm like alive. It's like I've had enough iron in my body for one.
Okay. We need to take a survey on liver. Like if people like liver. Because
liver and onions?
No, you don't look like the type of person that would like liver.
You don't think that. I know. But it's so good. It's like I got it at... You can get it at that place, Musso and Frank's, where I sent you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That place was nice.
You can get a plate of like liver as like a steak.
And onions?
I don't know. I think it comes as like, there's something else it comes with, but like just a big cow liver. And I had it divine. It was divine bovine.
I don't know. I'm afraid of burp. So no offense. I mean, I know liver. I know a lot of people like it. And that's why I've tried eating it multiple times.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
And I just can't. I just can't. And my girlfriend and I always bring up the story of when I went to eat at her grandma's house, and they gave me cuy, which is like guinea pig, traditional in Ecuador. They gave me the little foot, the little paw thing.
Oh no!
Yeah, and then that same day they gave me liver. My girlfriend knows I don't like it, and she still served it. Like she still brought me the plate, and because she forgot, I guess. I was counting the bites. I was swallowing the pieces whole, like the chunks. I was just like, all right, roll 1, 2, 3, bloop. And then like just gulp. Ugh.
I mean, I can see how the texture, like it's a real particular texture. If you're not into that texture, it would be hell on earth. Like it just...
Yeah, it's powdery to me. Like,
yeah, which it is like, it's a weird, dense... It
lingers. It's like, it just gets in between the gums and the lip area and the skin or whatever, the flap. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, like the flaps, the cheek flaps.
The flaps.
How did you eat the guinea pig foot? How are you supposed to eat the foot?
I guess it's like, it has like, like when you eat chicken feet or a chicken foot, you're not...
You just kind of like suck on, I don't know. Like I've never had a chicken foot or a guinea pig foot.
It has a little bit of meat on it and you have to like chew on it.
Oh, it's like that.
like the tiniest. Okay, so you know how a chicken has like the wing and like what I call the mini wing, like the wing on the wing, little tip.
Yeah.
Like, that thing,
so it's like that.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
It's kind of like a meat toothpick.
That's what it is. And you know, I felt bad because it's like they give that to the guest. It's like a special thing where like, here you go.
Here's this little creature's foot.
Thanks. Yeah. And then they gave me like intestines after, like. But that was the only time that I had 3 things like that all in one night, and it was terrible. And I was just really hungry after because I just couldn't.
I felt like a test. It felt like a test you failed.
I think they did it on purpose, and I chewed on that little piece of what intestine stuff forever, and it never disintegrated. It just kept going and getting stretchier and stretchier.
Oh. I just imagine it being one long piece of intestine, like attached, and you've just been chewing it like spaghetti. You're just like chewing it, and it just keeps going and going, and you're just like, no.
Man, but anyway, geez. So back to this, right? After we're dead, you know, once we die, our bodies go through a bunch of stuff, but we shouldn't care. We shouldn't care.
Yeah, chemical changes.
It's important though to like prepare this stuff so we don't explode and make everyone else uncomfortable. So they asked the guy, like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
He said basically air circulation is the thing that you need. So like, just get a simple coffin that doesn't seal, and that's it. You'll be dehydrated properly, and the worms will get you more easily, I guess. But then it goes into like burping caskets. And I guess caskets burp, and it's normal. It's because of gases. It's just like... like
a Tupperware. I just want to be burnt once I'm dead on a big pyre out in the open like a Viking. That's all I want.
That's the way to do it.
Or I could be recycled. I'm fine with being recycled and turned into dirt. But I was reading that those people that want to like be put in the ground and then have a tree planted on them or whatever. It doesn't work because the body gives off too much. No, because the body gives off too much heat when it's decomposing. So it would kill the tree that you'd plant.
Just turn it back into dirt, man. Like, I think that's the way to go. Like, just with dignity, just get burnt, get thrown into the dirt, get fed to whatever, get turned into a candle or whatever you said. Get dumped in the ocean.
Yeah, dumped in the ocean. I mean, preferably I'd like to be on a Viking boat that's set alight by a flaming arrow.
You'd have a whole boat made.
Yeah, that's my burial preference.
Would a canoe work?
Yeah, canoe would be fine, but I do need the flaming arrow to set it alight while I drift out to sea and burn and return to the earth.
Just flip over.
Jesus. My corpse washes up.
It's like they're watching you and then a wave comes and just flips you over.
It's like shit.
The canoe burns and you're just floating.
Well, then just fill me with flaming arrows for the love of God. Jesus. How much do I have to write this in my will for the love of God? I just have to really stipulate. If the canoe turns over, let fly a baker's dozen of flaming arrows into my corpse. So we take care of this. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man. Okay. So, speaking of endings, that is the end of the episode.
Good segue. Good segue.
Throw that flaming arrow to this episode.
Yeah.
And let us sail away and turn to ash.
That was beautiful, Edwin. Thank you for that beautiful eulogy for this episode.
Our last wish is for you to leave a review and subscribe, please. What are we going to talk about next week, Michelle?
I don't know, but I think it'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.